Firstly, welcome to Subsurface Live in London. I'm Matt Peachey. I'm the Vice President of our international business, which is the EMEA and the APAC region. And I'm going to be your host for today, taking you through the agenda and introducing all of the speakers that we have for today. So to start off with, many of you may well be familiar with Subsurface. It's an event that's been running for a few years now, hosted by Dremio, but it's really an industry event. This is the third year we've run the event. The previous two events were actually obviously live events, hosted events, platform-hosted events. This time around, we're actually, for the first time, trialing a hybrid live setup. We've actually got concurrent sessions running in, obviously here in London, but also in New York and in San Francisco. The New York and San Francisco ones will be starting a little bit after this one, but then the live sort of streamed platform will run from about 4 p.m. today onwards for the next day or 2 days actually, right? So. Now, this is a gathering of all sort of members of the industry and the community who are interested in sort of open data lakehouse systems and architectures. And really what we're trying to do over the next couple of days is to bring you sort of the latest innovations that are happening in the marketplace, as well as have, best practices and real world experiences from people that are actually using the technologies and the platforms in Anglia, and actually talking to you about how they sort of architect, build and run their platforms. So we do have some really great speakers, both here in the room today, and I'm going to introduce the agenda in just a second, but also on the virtual platform as well, where there's over 70 different sessions being streamed over the next 2 days. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we go on. Obviously, we're in this room, which is called the White Loft, and the two rooms we use is this room and the one that you had lunch in, which is the Victoria Loft. You heard a file drill earlier. There are no more, you'll be pleased to know. All the sessions are going to be recorded, so and they will be published afterwards, after the event. So you get to look at either things you didn't see here or things you might have missed in other virtual sessions or live sessions in New York or San Francisco. The virtual sessions, you can join and you can interact with the virtual sessions that will start showing from 4 p.m. today, but you will need to log on to the Wi-Fi and onto the streaming platform to do that. And we ask that obviously any questions or things that you want to post be done there separately. This is an open event, as I said. So there are many different sponsors from various different walks of the data and analytics industry space, and so we thank all of the sponsors that are behind making Subsurface a huge global event, all focused on lakehouses. So, and the topics that we're covering, these are some of the topics that we will talk about both in the room today as well as on the wider platform. So, as I said, there's over 70 different sessions that will be hosted. And I'm sure there will be stuff in there that you will see when you look through the agenda. Log on to the Goldcast platform, look through the agenda, and I'm sure you'll find some really interesting topics in there, and especially the customer presentations that you'll see. But they're not just limited to customers. You're going to hear from sort of industry analysts, you're going to hear from professionals, you're going to hear from vendors and other extended members of the sort of data and analytics ecosystem. So. And a quick plug for 4 p.m. This is the keynote that starts at 4 p.m. So we'll switch at 4 p.m. into the streamed keynotes that are going to be coming live out of San Francisco. And you're going to be hearing from these folks here, from Shell, from TransUnion, as well as some other folks associated with the data lake and data lakehouse industry. So please join us for that session and make sure at 4 p.m. we're ready to go. So all of our timing is really locked to 4 p.m. So we're already running a little bit over. So I know Gemma's panicking already a little bit, but the sessions today are as per on the board here. So after me, we're going to have Matt come up from Ventana Research, and who's going to talk about the sort of state of the industry from his perspective as an analyst. So we're then going to have a customer industry panel, which is made up of a couple of customers, and JB, who's from the Apache community, open source community. Matt will sit on that session as well. And we'll have Sham from Baringa Partners, who are a data and AI consulting partner working with many different enterprises in the industry. Take a break. Gia, who's one of Dremio's customers from One Mount, who's flown all the way from Vietnam to be with us today, is going to walk through his architecture and his experiences and what he's doing for One Mount. And then we go into these roundtable sessions at 3:30 p.m. and they will all be hosted in the Victoria room down the end. And we'll talk about how they will work when we get to that session. And then, as I say, everything's leading up to 4 p.m., which is when we start the live stream of the keynotes from San Francisco. So we will be serving drinks and everything, and it will be hosted in here. So. Okay, so just a couple of other sort of housekeeping items. If you haven't got on the Wi-Fi, so you can get on the Goldcast streaming platform. The details are on your table, but they're also on the screen here. Dremio staff will all be wearing T-shirts, same as myself. So if you've got any questions or if there's anything you want to ask or you need help with anything, please just grab one of us and we will do our best to try and help you. Given that we're already running slightly behind, only a few minutes, we will try and accommodate Q&A, but obviously we've got a pretty packed agenda, as you've seen, through to 4 p.m., and we need to be ready at 4 p.m. to go. So if we don't have a chance to take your questions, answer your questions before then or in the sessions, please just grab one of the speakers or someone from Dremio or one of the peers that are here at the event and ask your questions during the breaks. And there's plenty of breaks and there's plenty of time after the sessions to be able to do that. So yeah, that's really the setup of the day. And then finally, if you want to put some stuff out on social about how you're feeling about the event in general and what you're hearing here, just use the QR code that's there and it's on the screen in the other room as well. And you can post a quick gnarly picture up. Gnarly's our company mascot, if you didn't know that already, right? I think most people do know that. Gnarly's the Dremio mascot, and you probably saw Gnarly downstairs as well, those of you who are lucky enough to be greeted by him. So no saying which one of us was inside the costume.